Hello, hello, hello. Here we are with a Civic. It's an EK Coupe with some Avid 1 wheels and a sweet looking paint job from Inline Auto Body in Oshkosh. We got this thing on the dyno and we're going to try to see what kind of power we can make with it. It is a built-up LSV tech with a top mount, a full 3-inch exhaust, full 3-inch intercooler piping, and Skunk 2 Pro Series intake manifold back there. And a set of Hunter tuned flex fuel 1000cc injectors. It's just got a rod and piston setup in it, stock sleeves, so we got to keep that in mind. I don't even think it has a block guard or anything, so stock sleeve, just rod and piston deal, top mount, and a 35R turbo. This looks like a billet unit and full 3-inch exhaust. So we're going to see what she does. It does run currently. This is from Team Defiant here in Oshkosh. They do a lot of Honda builds and stuff. They're actually out here with me today. They got a good base map in the car and it does run pretty good. We're gonna see what it makes on their little street tune, and then we're gonna see what we can do to optimize the tune as well. So we're gonna see first hit what it does, just as is what they did on the street, and then we're gonna see if we can clean it up a little bit. It is on a Honda S300, so without further ado, we're gonna get this thing spun up. Alright guys, so first pull, I'm going to go over the data log here in a second, but we made 416 horsepower, 321 foot-pounds of torque, and I think the dyno tack is off about 300-400 RPM or so. I've spun the car like 8,000 RPM, and the dyno's saying 7,400, 7,500, but it's close. It's in the ballpark. You can see that our power window is right here, pretty much starting right at VTEC here. So I think if we bump VTEC down a little bit, we can make this a little bigger, and we can spin this thing higher RPM for sure. So I think the only change I'm going to do for the next one is I'm going to lower VTEC, raise the limiter a little bit, and try to clean up the fuel. The base map's pretty decent that's in this thing, but we're going to try to clean it up a little bit. This is the data log from that run. So you can see right when we first got in it, we were running about a 10.7 air fuel, 10.8, 11.0, up until like 2 pounds of boost and 3,800 RPM. So below 3,800 and 2 pounds, we're gonna go on the fuel map. Below 2 pounds and 3,800, and you can see how much of a jump there is over here when this thing transitions from 0.4 pounds up to 3.8. So we're going to try to remove some fuel in here in this area below 3,700. I'm going to yank like 10% out, and then I'm going to go through and make sure this is still pretty smooth and everything. We're going to go back to the graph, and you can see pretty much all through here. So from 3,700 and 2.4 pounds all the way till 4,400. So what is that? 37 to 44? 37 to 44, we could probably yank out 5%. So 37 to 44. So pretty much the rest of this map we're going to kind of trim up a little bit. So we're going to take out 5 here, just to kind of give it a little spunk before VTEC. Then we're going to go in here. We're going to lower, actually we're going to keep doing the fuel, we're not going to change VTEC. So we're going to go back to graph. And you can see here when it hits VTEC at 5 grand, you can see the air fuel jumps up to around where it should be, 12.0, but it goes 12.20 right on the crossover all the way until about 6,200 RPM. Then it goes bottom 11s. So before 6,300 on the VTEC map, we have to add fuel. So before 6,300 on the VTEC side, so I'm just going to do an overall change here. Before 6,300, we're going to add, let's say, if we're at a 12.0 and we want to go to an 11.5, we're probably going to need like 5 to 5.5%. We'll go 5.5. So we're just going to do that change, and you can see here now that we did that change, there's kind of a bump in the map. So what we can do is we can take this here to here, and we can interpolate vertically to make these numbers going up as we go in the RPM. So you see here it's 2048, then it goes 1993, then back to 2028 or whatever. We're just going to interpolate vertically, and we smooth that out. So that's the changes we're going to do. Let's crank this limiter up a little bit. Let's see here. Rev limit. Rev limit. We're at 8K right now. Let's try 8,600. Okay, just fuel there. Let's upload this change and make another pull. So that run, we ended up making a little bit more power, 432 horsepower instead of 416. But we did lose a smidge here in the middle on the top end, and I'm blaming the heat for that, because between the runs we did gain quite a bit of heat just in the shop here. And the car itself was like 214 degrees. It's almost 90 degrees out today, so I mean, I'm kind of blaming the heat a little bit. So we're cooling the car down for like 10 minutes right now, and we're gonna do another run. I'm probably just going to add, I might play with fueling just a little bit more. I'm gonna show you the data log here. So this is what our air fuel chart is looking like now after that change that we just did. So you can see it is quite a bit smoother, and we are leaner down here at lower RPM. So you can see we're like a 12.0, 11.8, all through here. And then right when 2.3 pounds of boost, we go 12.6. So I'm gonna try to splash a little bit of fuel right in this spot at 39.50 and 2.3 pounds. And you can see when you're doing a record like that, when you go to the spot on your graph and you leave the marker there, when you go back to the table, it brings you right to that spot. So you can actually see here, it goes 1286, 1249, and then 1303. So This is where I'm telling you guys where you gotta have interpolation. You can't have the numbers going like 17, 10, and then lower and then higher as you climbing RPM. So all I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna interpolate vertically right here. That's all I'm doing. I'm not doing anything else, and hopefully that will get rid of that little spike that we have on the fuel curve. And then as we're climbing RPM, you can see our VTEC crossover is a lot smoother. It's pretty much unnoticeable now. Or it's not a big spike anymore, I should say. So I'm gonna leave pretty much the rest of the fueling alone. It's like 11.4, 11.3. You can see through here, it does go 1090 right here for a split second at 55.30. But we're just gonna leave that for now. We are, however, going to richen up the top end of this thing. So from 7600 all the way to redline, you can see it starts going a little bit lean in a couple spots up here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go from 7600 on the VTEC side. So we're just gonna take 7500 and above, and we're gonna slam 5% in it. And then around 9K, I'm assuming this thing's gonna start tapering off. We could probably pull a smidge way down here. So yeah, other than that, I'm gonna spin this thing up again, and we're gonna see what she does. I'm gonna set the limiter at 9 because I wanna see where this thing's gonna shut off power-wise. $9,200. Let's just do that change and then we'll see what it does, and then I'm gonna lower VTEC after this change. I'm also going on the ignition map here and I'm cleaning some stuff up. I am gonna give this thing 2 degrees of timing pretty much at full boost. I'm gonna see how it responds. The rest of this is pretty aggressive already. But you can see some of the dips and stuff I'm gonna try to clean up as well. Try to keep the timing map as smooth as possible. So yeah, like all through here, we're going to interpolate horizontally. Try to clean that up a little bit. There we go. Now it's nice and smooth. And I added 2 low cam stuff, 16 degrees, 13. I mean, this thing can probably take fucking 3 degrees down here, honestly. I'm gonna give it, let's see here, we're gonna adjust, give it 2 for now. So I did give it 2 degrees down here. I also tried to fix some of the idling by just cramming a bunch of timing in it at really low RPM because the throttle body's not really set up right on this thing. But they're just here to make some power, guys. They don't really care about that shit, so we're just gonna send her, you know? Okay, upload our change. Let's get it. Guys, so the change we just did picked up from 432 peak to 441 peak, but in the between like 6,500 RPM area, we were at 402 and now are at 426. 402 to 426 on 2 degrees of timing. So it definitely responded good to it. We are probably going to leave the timing alone. We could give it a little bit more. This is 19 degrees on 16 pounds. This is on E85 obviously, but considering this is a stock sleeve setup, we're going to leave the timing kind of where it's at. We could give it another degree, maybe. I might give it a degree, I don't know. And we just turned the boost controller a little bit. They have a manual controller on this thing, right down here. So we just gave that a little bit of a and we're gonna see if it picks up a little bit of boost. But we're gonna try to be a little bit careful because it is a stock sleeve car. 500 horsepower, they usually ship the sleeve out, so 441 is not too bad, but let's see if we can hit 450. On this run, I'm also going to lower the VTEC set point. Alright guys, I found a little issue on this car. I was trying to get the idle set right because if you notice when I was on a dyno, the car was really herky-jerky because the throttle body was stuck. Like the throttle body was sticking pretty bad. So I got it idling pretty good, but it's idling kind of high because I set the throttle set screw on the bottom of the throttle body. I set it higher so the throttle body's not sticking any longer, but I can't get it to idle down. And the idle on this thing is kind of all over the place. And I ended up finding this. You can see, you can hear it right there. I don't know if you guys heard that, where it kind of came up and down. So that's a boost leak and a vacuum leak. So probably has 20 horsepower just fixing that leak. So they're gonna get that fixed and probably come back. But we ended up making 447 with this thing. I think 447. 446.2 was our best number of the day on 17 pounds of boost. And you can kind of see it's just a little wavy and shit. Way up at the top end on this last run, it kind of dipped off and then came back. I'm kind of blaming that little leak now, seeing it. So, but thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this really cool EK Civic. Hopefully you enjoyed this really cool EK Coupe. Awesome little build from Defiant and inline auto body in Oshkosh. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a great night and a better tomorrow. This little Civic should be a ripper.